Vladimir Putin has announced his decision to participate in the upcoming presidential elections in March of 2024. It's safe to say that he's already won. What's next for Russia? What will happen in 2024 and beyond? Let's talk about it today. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia. We're living in today's Russia Explained, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. No propaganda, BS, or lies here, only truth, common sense, and logic, and some emotions too, because I am a human being after all. The die is cast. The Rubicon has been crossed. Vladimir Putin will continue being Russia's president. He made the announcement. First, I want to show you all the announcements that he made over the years. And the very first one was made not by him, but acting President Boris Yeltsin, who stepped down and gave the power to Vladimir Putin. Check this out. That's Yeltsin. 31st of December, 1999. The Yeltsin can barely speak here. I doubt he understands what he's talking about. I'm sorry, it's all in Russian, but I'll translate. Vladimir Putin announced his decision to run for president of Russia 2 weeks later, on January 13th, at his alma mater, St. Petersburg or Leningrad State University. Great. He said I wasn't planning on that, but hey, if people need that, then I remind you, that's 13th of January of 2000. This is how he started his reign, you know. I wasn't planning on that. Now, the next time, 18th of December 2003. Again. Yes, I will vote. I will run for the president of Russia in 2004. Moving on to 2011, 24th of September. Dmitry Medvedev, acting president, saying that he will support Vladimir Putin in the next elections.
Высказать слова благодарности за положительную реакцию на предложение баллотироваться мне в качестве президента России. Для меня это огромная честь. Лучшего места и лучшего повода для
2017, the city of Nizhny Novgorod. Thank you for your support. I will run for the president. And a few days ago, 8th of December 2023. I didn't want to do that. You talked me into it, you know. Surrounded by the military. See the striking difference? And at the very end, Boris Yeltsin says, the day has come. Agreed. The day has come, you know. Anyway, I have no doubts that Vladimir Putin will be re-elected. Dmitry Peskov, his press secretary, publicly announced in August that Russia doesn't really have democracy and that Putin will have already won. I quote Peskov, "Our presidential election is not a democracy, but an expensive bureaucracy. Mr. Putin will be re-elected next year with more than 90% of the vote." That is from the interview, the quote from the interview he gave to the Wall Street Journal. That was the official statement of one of Russia's top people. So I have no doubt that Vladimir Putin will be re-elected. Once it's done, what's in store for Russian political system, for the vertical of power? Will the current power group's status quo be kept and maintained, or something will happen? and what's in the store for Russia and for Russian people, for the country and for the regular folks. I will try to give you my takes on that today. Let's go. First, I'd like to discuss and share what I think is in store for Putin and country's political system. Then, in the part 2, I will speak of what awaits the country and the Russian people. Now, to Putin and his political system of power. Number 1, losing power. Let's talk of Putin himself in the political system that he has been meticulously creating for the past 23 years. That's the system that is called the vertical of power. The foundation of Russia's current political system is solid and unshakable control of one man and forces loyal to him to that man over everyone and everything else inside Russia. Solid and unshakable control. Dictatoring. For 23 years, Putin, on one hand, was increasing his power by creating new legislative base, creating new laws, amending existing laws, issuing executive orders, etc. That new legislative base system was empowering the state, step by step, slowly but surely. Putin was slowly boiling the frog. Only instead of frog, they were Russian people. Putin had all the time in the world, 23 years. For 23 years, he was slowly boiling and cooking Russia in his own hell's kitchen. On the other hand, Vladimir Putin was stripping Russians of their basic rights, making Russians, we other people, less and less powerful. It's gotten so bad that now, in 2023, Russian people are basically rightless. At the same time, he was slowly killing political opposition, sometimes figuratively speaking and sometimes literally. That all has resulted in huge power disbalance, where the state and its leader has all the power and the people have close to no power at all, and it's supposed to be vice versa. So Putin got to a point that he controlled Russia completely. I'm saying controlled instead of controls for a very important reason. Now, listen to me very carefully and mark my words down. If you want to understand what's currently happening inside Russia and what's up ahead for the country, this is the key. Remember this, mark this down. By invading Ukraine and starting the war in February of 22, Vladimir Putin lost control over Russian political system. I repeat, by invading Ukraine, he lost control. He wanted to gain more, but he made a mistake, and instead he lost what he had. Some things have gone out of his control. And these things influence Russian politics very, very much. For example, Putin cannot control performance and effectiveness of Russian armed forces. He can't control the course of the military events in Ukraine. He's trying to control it indirectly as much as he can by spending more and more on the military-industrial complex, beefing up the equipment, the technology, whatever. But he cannot control the war directly. He cannot control when the Ukrainians attack the Crimea bridge. He can't control when Russian troops flee Kharkov. He can't control when the Ukrainians kick the Russian army out of Kherson. He can't control when Russian Freedom Legion raids freely through Belgorod province. He can't control when a private army he created and armed announces mutiny and starts a little war against him and against Russian armed forces. And each one of those things are a huge blow to Vladimir Putin personally, his image, respect for him, and support for him. And this is not going to stop. Moreover, him losing control will be increasing. That's making him weaker and weaker. We've seen that happening, and we're going to be watching more and more. Number 2, vanishing trust and increasing discontent. Russian people are not robots, despite what some think. They might be drinking a lot. They might have lost ability to think critically. They might have been brainwashed. They might have been not very well traveled, They might be not educated, but they still have brains. They still have feelings, and they still have emotions. They start questioning what has been happening in the country in the past 21 months. The questions include the following, but not limited to. When the war will be over? That's the question number 1 in Russian society now. When our mobilized husbands, fathers, sons will come back home? What exactly are we fighting in Ukraine for? Why eggs first quadrupled in price, and now why there are shortages of eggs at stores? Why Russian ruble is catastrophically devaluing against all world hard currencies? Why the prices for everything are skyrocketing? Why is the picture painted on TV is so dramatically different from what we see with our own eyes around us? And these questions are absolutely legitimate. The state cannot arrest and charge and label people extremists for them simply asking these questions. The state can't do anything about it. But Putin simply cannot answer these questions. And the obvious result is discontent is brewing. Discontent is growing. People start thinking that the government is not controlling the situation anymore. Putin starts making mistakes. Simple questions, they cannot be answered. Do you know what happens when they aren't answered? We're seeing that in Russia. It's happening in front of our eyes right now. Mothers and wives of the mobilized men start organizing, getting together, and protesting. And this is just the beginning. It is safe to say that 2024 will bring more and more of that. Actually, will bring more of both. More events will be happening that will be stripping Putin out of control more. And there will be more discontent growing. People will be heard louder, and that's going to be putting lots of pressure onto existing political system that Vladimir Putin has been crafting for 23 years. More of losing control, more of growing crowd discontent are expected in 2024. And at the end, there will be an idea born. And that idea is Putin has weakened. Putin is not the same as he used to be. Putin must go. The change is needed. And then there will be an ultimate fight between the people and the state. And that won't be pretty. There will be blood. I think that 2024 will be the preparation year for that ultimate clash. It might happen in 2024, in the next year. Or it might happen later. I think that it will happen later. But I can't tell you for sure. I'm keeping my eyes open, and I will definitely be keeping you informed. We will know way before that happens, because that clash will not grow out of nothing overnight. There will be signs, many, many signs, and the actions and the situation will be heating up, and one day it'll erupt. So let's keep our eyes open together. By the way, if you're liking today's news update, today's message, please help me spread it by making reposts on your social media accounts. That helps. You can also consider becoming a sponsor of Inside Russia, at Patreon, or buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com would be fantastic too. Thank you. Now, let's talk of what awaits the country and Russian people. I forecast that in 2024, Russian people will have two huge problems that will be influencing their lives. Well, I should say dominating their lives. Influence is not the right word. It does not express the magnitude of what's going to be happening with the Russians. First problem is poverty. And the second problem is cognitive dissonance. First, let's talk about poverty. I am absolutely sure that many middle and lower class Russians will significantly drop in their living standard. Those who are poor now, they will descend into complete poverty. Those who are doing fairly well, they will become poor. Everyone will have their living standard drop, except for those who profiteer from the war. Those will make more money, and the corrupt government officials, and pretty much all of them. So that two categories of people, they're going to be okay financially. Everyone else, government employees, entrepreneurs, big, small business, anyone, they will significantly drop in their living standard. The two social classes in Russia, the rich and the poor, they already exist. They're already there. But the gap between them in 2024 will be widening. And the next year, there will be many more poor. Okay? The reason, it's all about the economy. I've been talking about it for the past 21 months. It's not well. And it has very negative outlook for 2024, despite anyone says, that's I will be debunking what some say about Russian economy soon, so please tune in. The outlook for the next year is very negative. You can see things aren't well even now already. Have you recently seen the food lines where people waiting outside in freezing cold in December in Russia to buy cheap eggs, cheap? And there are limits set at food stores on how many eggs you can buy. That's not well. That's feverish. That's really bad. Folks, that's not gonna get any better. The state is desperately trying to sugarcoat the situation, to keep the economic situation under control until the presidential elections in March. But at the same time, they are using the last remaining financial resources for that. Basically, to give you an analogy, they are injecting anesthesia instead of curing the problem, or at least trying to cure the problem. Economics is not rocket scientist. Everything is transparent and it's out there for the economists to see. And clearly, the Russian government is not doing the right thing. They're sugarcoating the problem until March. After March, they wouldn't care. Again, mark my words, 2024 economically will be very hard for the Russian people. The time has come to pay the price for invading Ukraine and killing the Ukrainians. At first, the Russians will be paying with their living standard. Then, that's a topic for a different stream. We'll talk about it later. Second, I would like to touch the cognitive dissonance. It is a state of mental discomfort of an individual caused by the collision of conflicting realities in his or her mind. And that's exactly what has been existing in the minds of Russian people, two realities. One reality has been meticulously painted by Russian propaganda. I call it the Barbie land. All is well in Barbie land. All is going according to the plan. People get richer by the day, the inflation is low, the wages grow every month, and the prices for everything, They don't grow. I think you get the picture. The Russian Barbie land. All pink, nice, sugar and spice and everything nice. And the other reality is the one that actually exists in real world. That is real. No pun intended. It's really hard not to believe that reality that is real. You go to the store and have enough money to buy 3 eggs a week, not a dozen, because they're expensive. And you buy 3 eggs and you eat 3 eggs, and that's very different from eating a dozen eggs, okay? And that's the reality. It hits you hard. You have full-time job, but you can't afford to ride on public transportation because the prices have gone so freaking high. And I think you get the idea of what I'm talking about. The two realities have existed for quite some time, but they were not too far from each other. And that's why there's very little cognitive dissonance has been at this point. But they're growing, they're floating apart from each other. The two realities will clash in 2024. And that reality that actually exists will win. The fridge always wins because when you open it, you get an instant reality check. Then an interesting thing will happen. I think that'll happen around mid next year or so. Vladimir Putin's key concept that he has been basing his actions upon, his reign upon, his power upon, will be damaged first and then completely destroyed. Do you know what that key concept is? The stability. Putin has been selling the Russians this concept, key concept, the most important, the core idea of his existence. The stability is above everything, above all. Democracy, human rights, freedoms, all not important. It's not the highest priority, far from it. All should be sacrificed to achieve stability. And he has kept asking the Russians, remember the 90s? Remember how hard your lives were back in the 90s? Why? Due to instability. So achieving and maintaining stability is number one priority. That's his key concept throughout the presidency. Russians have been buying that for 2 decades, but that's about to stop. He did achieve some economic stability, but, it's been decreasing for the past 9 years, okay? And now it's going to fall apart. I mean, what kind of stability that is if you can only afford 3 eggs a week? That's just for example. Or $1 American can buy you 130 Russian rubles. What stability are we talking about? All you have to do to understand and to realize what's going on is open your eyes, get outside on the street and look around, okay? Your kids will ask you in the morning, Daddy, I want to eat, and you have nothing to feed them with. That's the stability of the new Russian stability. So people will feel betrayed. They'll become angry, and discontent will start growing, and that will keep on growing higher and higher. And that's what I think will happen to the Russians after the elections. The sugarcoating that Russian government, Russian state has been covering their lives with is going to be gone. Just like that, the minute the elections are over and Putin is elected, people's lives will be becoming significantly worse. And we will see a roller coaster, the right down, in about mid-year next year. Well, we're seeing it now, okay? And it's pretty bad now, but it's going to be much worse. People will be growing angry. And what's most importantly, I think that they will start making themselves loud. Husbands, wives of the husbands who have been mobilized, mothers of sons who have been mobilized, and the children of fathers who were mobilized, They are already organizing and they're making themselves loud. We are hearing them. That's going to continue and increase. 2024 will be turbulent, feverish, loud. Most importantly, 2024 will be the end of Putin. I have been saying that I have a gut feeling he's going to be out of the office by the end of this year. Well, the year hasn't ended yet. If not, then next year definitely will be the end of him. Despite that, it'll be just the pretext to what is about to descend upon Russia a little bit later, the chaos. Folks, and this has been all for my message today. Thank you very much for coming. My pleasure and honor to have you here. I'd like to invite everyone to continue to the live stream chat where we can talk and I will answer questions. And while I'm turning the live stream chat on, I'm asking you again to like this message and make reposts on your social media accounts. That helps a lot. And the live stream chat is on now. Thank you so much. Fantastic to see everyone. If you're not seeing the chat, please hit the refresh button and you will see it. If you're here for the first time, please know that this community inside Russia has the best moderation team in the entire universe. Lorna, Bami K, Bob S, Harry Potter, and Amir Fazad are the best moderators in the world. Great people, good friends, and fantastic mods. So let's applaud them, cheer them, and like them. If you want to send something nice to them, just type it in. They'll be very, very happy to read that. Sending my love from Tashkent, Uzbekistan to you, Finland, the USA. Thank you, friends, and the usual suspects. Thank you for coming. Again, you know the drill. If you want me to spot notice your message or question easier, please put it in all caps and put Inside Russia after @ sign, so it appears highlighted in large orange box. It's much easier for me to see. Thank you so much. Just like Harry Potter did, saying hello Inside Russia, hello Harry, and it's fantastic to see everyone. Aisma, great to see you. First of all, folks, I'm saying hello. Great to see everyone says hello too, and please let me know, did you find my today's message of any interest? Not? What do you think? Kermo, howdy. Kermo and all Finns here, congratulations on joining NATO. You're in good company now. Pentium, Lorraine, KG1, and everyone else. I'll be reading the comments in all caps and highlighted in orange. Thank you. Thank you for cheering the mods, Aisma. Andrew Baker, thank you so much for your support. Much appreciated. Thank you. Andrew from South Africa, Maltidaki from Germany, good Abend. Frank in Texas. Saw your videos today. It was good. I liked the video that you made driving. It's pretty cool. It's like being there with you in your truck, you know. Sam K, thank you for coming. You're a legend. Ron, I hope you're right in your predictions. They are not predictions. You see, I gather lots of information and I analyze and I forecast possible outcomes. And this is what I do. I don't predict. And you know, folks, I'm pretty proud of what I've done today because this analysis you will not find anywhere else. I've looked, okay? This is pretty deep stuff. This is cutting edge. I'm going to write down, well, I have written it down, and I'm going to come back to this analysis in 6 months, in mid 2024, and find out if I was wrong or right. But at this point, I'm pretty proud of it. It's probably the best analysis I've ever made. And 21 months ago, I could care less about the politics. I didn't know anything about, political analysis, political agendas and stuff like that. I'm fresh. This is something completely new for me. Well, I've done it for about 1,000 times already. It's going to be 2 years very soon, but still, thank you. Whew. Guy, what the fudge? Putin number 1 or 3 running for president? I would put it differently, Guy. He's one and only. Daniel McInnes, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Sending love to Canada from Tashkent. Scott Nesbitt, Leslie Fleming, Brother Randall. Thank you so much for good words. Questions, anyone? The underdog, howdy. Friendly reminder. Did you guys hear Alexei Navalny has disappeared? Why, I certainly have. That's another day that no one has heard from him. I think that's day number 5. And that's pretty disturbing. I start having a feeling that something bad happened to Navalny. They have finally achieved their goal. Palm Tree Kate, with the worry of the USA potentially withdrawing funding for Ukraine, we need to pray that the sanctions will cripple Russia and soon. It's such a waiting game, though. Palm Tree Kate, it's a waiting game, but it's not a waiting game. It's it's happening already. It's happening. So they have taken a toll on Russian economy. You definitely can trust. Of course, the only savior that Russia has been having is the Russian government has had is high oil prices, and they have been trying to they've been succeeding in circumventing the oil sanctions, the oil price ceiling. But that has stopped, and the Americans are going after individual companies, they're monitoring after tankers. The actions have been done, so that's definitely crippling. Jekyll N, thank you so much, friend, all the way from Australia. Usually you don't write anything, but you do this time, and this is very valuable. If you're right, Russians don't say anything when their husbands and sons get mobilized and killed, but they will get really angry when the economy is bad, and it'll hit their hip pocket. Not really. I put an emphasis on that Russian mothers and wives have started, you can call it unionizing, okay? Creating informal unions, unofficial unions, and they started protesting. So it's already started. Now, I've said it many times, perhaps dozens of times. One thing I did not understand at all about Russian people, Russian parents, is when their kids were being mobilized and taken away from them. They weren't saying anything. They weren't protesting. The mothers and wives were not protesting when their husbands were mobilized. They're protesting now. So that is the cutting edge of protests. Okay, you cannot do anything about it because their loved ones' well-being, okay, lives are at stakes. But the fridge will come next. And there are relatively few mothers and wives compared to all Russians, okay? I don't know, million of them. Well, there are 145 million Russians. Imagine that. Right now, probably 142, since 3 million have left recently. So imagine that. But first, it's the mothers. It's the cutting edge. They have been doing it already. And then everyone else will follow. That's what I think. Dive Crew Canada. Look, first of all, I found your name on my prayers list. Was it there by mistake, or we need to pray for you? Please remind me. I just don't remember when you or somebody else asked me to put you on there. So let me know if we should continue praying for you. Hi, brother. Here is a hard question for you. I usually go with humor and try to make you laugh the best I can, but I'm wondering, what is your outreach to actual Russians on YouTube? If you mean the Russians that view YouTube, it's not great. Russians are not my audience. I've been asked many times, why don't you stream in Russian? Well, you see, I am one of very few who share messages to you of what's happening inside Russia in English. But in Russia, there are literally hundreds of really good channels with professional politologists, political scientists, the ones who used to work for the government. One guy is fantastic guy, used to be economic advisor for Vladimir Putin. And he does shows in Russian for Russians. One guy used to write, he was a Putin speechwriter, personal speechwriter. He was writing speeches until 2010. He knows Putin inside out. He has a great show. Russians watch him. Why would I compete with these guys? There are hundreds, well, at least dozens of resources. It doesn't make any sense for me to go and do that. Russians have all access they want to any kind of information. Again, I don't find that if I would talk to Russians, that I'm not a professional. I'm not as good as professional media that are Russian for Russians in Russian language, but they're just based abroad. There are plenty of those. Answering your question. And if you mean what's my outreach to Russian YouTubers, I know most of them personally. I haven't talked to many. Most of them, there's just a couple I still speak to, but I personally know most of them. That's a lot of YouTubers have disappeared who were doing YouTube in English for the English-speaking audience. A lot of them are just afraid. A lot of them don't want to speak of political situation. I think I'm the only one. Zach, and NFKRZ are the only ones left. Isma, I think too much money was spent on Putin's image, so we'll try to get the best out of it. That's money. A lot of money have been spent, yes, but useless. It's sugarcoating. It's going to last until March, okay? The mobilization will happen, not in March, but after the elections are over, mid-year. That's going to be another blow on Russian people. The dissonance will be growing because, hey, on one side they're saying there's no mobilization. Oh, we have enough troops. And then they've been saying and saying. So everyone kind of believes this idea. This idea grows into Russian heads. And then, bada bing, bada boom, mobilization is, what were you saying? Oh, it's none of your business. Forget about that. What we were saying was BS. Now, this is true. This type of thing. This is the cognitive dissonance. KG1, Russia might hold elections in occupied areas of Ukraine. Would Russians not at all be cynical? KG1, I don't know what to answer you. I think this idea that elections will be held in the occupied areas of Ukraine, but I think we'll understand what kind of quality of the elections will be held there. You know what they did? They cut us off the elections. The ones who fled Russia, the ones who residing outside of Russia, now they're saying we cannot vote because we might be under influence of the enemies, the enemy countries, and then they might be influencing Russian elections by proxy through us, through me. So I cannot vote. In order to vote, I must return to Russia and vote there. And that's Charlie B from Pacific Beach. Howdy, howdy. Elam, thank you so much. George Ruberty, thank you. Good to see you. Hope all is well. We keep on praying for you. Just Terry, thank you so much. Good words, very inspiring. Keeps me going. Trust me, it gives me energy. Terry, all your messages do. This one is great too. What the fudge? My membership tag disappeared. Oh my goodness. Hey guy, you not a sponsor anymore. How come? What's up with that? What's the matter? Leslie Fleming, price of eggs in New York State, $5 for 2 cartons of 18. I made the crazy news update last Friday, and there I compared the prices of eggs in Russia and in the United States. And I showed the picture in dollars, how much eggs cost in Russia and the US, and the prices are the same. Except for Russians make about 10 times less minimum wage than Americans do. So you can afford 10 eggs. A Russian can afford 1 egg. An equivalent job and everything, you know. James, thank you so much from Poland. Every time a Polish person comes here, it warms my heart. Thank you so much. I hope your analysis is correct. We will see in 6 months. About your prayer list, you can take down the father of Viking ZX of the list if he's still there. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. He's still there, and I am very sorry to hear that. I'm taking down right now. Said. Zena from Saskatchewan. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. 10 joules. Yes, we can. Ed, that's a good idea. What's that? Alexei Navalny. Remember the predictions Medvedev gave a year ago? I remember, James. I remember very well. And guess what? I'm going to make a few amusing streams or videos, before the new year comes. And I'm going to review those predictions Medvedev gave a year ago. And actually, he's been active. He probably sobered up a little bit because lately he's been active. He just today announced that he's going to change the constitution, overhaul it, you know. So a river of bullcrap continues coming out of his mouth, you know. Susie, did you get my email? Please. I am sorry. I put your husband on the list, but I didn't understand you lost him last Wednesday. Please receive my condolences. I don't know what to say. He's on the list, but I thought he was not doing well. Hang on. Allison, good to see you. Thank you so much. Dirk, I did see your email. I will reply after the stream. Paula W. Zelensky is in the USA today for a couple of days. I think, wish I could meet him. That'd be nice. Dave Strains, howdy. Cheryl, the narrative has changed from stability to glory to the empire. You know what? It's a fantastic idea. And, if you don't mind, I copy that and I will use it later. Because this is actually, it's a fantastic saying. Every time stability changes to the glory to the empire means we're surrounded by the enemies. Even if we suffer, that's okay. We will have to be mobilized and we will suffer. We will go through the hard times for the glory of the empire, for the glory of Russia. And once we start hearing it, and we have been hearing it, then we understand that things are going sour. Stefan, the egg balance sheet seems to be out of order. Where did all the Russian eggs go? To the front line. No. This is funny. I'm going to tell you right now. This is the question I started asking myself. What the heck? What happened to the eggs? Makes perfect sense. Is it the lack of means of transportation? No, far from it. So thank you. First of all, thanks for support and thanks for your question. Last October, a couple months ago, Russian markets started seeing a spike in prices of chicken meat or chicken. And Russians use chicken a lot, eat chicken a lot, because chicken is cheaper than beef, definitely much cheaper, and even cheaper than pork. So, Russians didn't like that. And there was a little discontent, lots of social discussions, and Vladimir Putin personally gave an order to tackle this situation, to take care of it, to make sure that Russians don't suffer, and the prices of chicken, don't increase much. None other than the son of Dmitry Patrushev, no, not Dmitry, Sergei. Anyway, the Patrushev, the father, is the great cardinal of entire Russia. His son is the minister of agriculture. So his son started taking steps. I guess government people got involved, certain government people with a power to use violence against citizens. And Russian chicken factories or chicken farms, they started slaying chickens by millions to flood markets with chicken. So the prices go down, and they did. But guess what you get once you cut your stock? That your stock is dead and it cannot have eggs anymore. So they temporarily fixed that situation with chicken meat. And then they got another crisis, chicken eggs. And now they're going to get even bigger crisis, chicken meat. That's not because, to grow chicken is more expensive. Gas prices gone up. Chicken food, that's not, we learned that it's not made in Russia. It's imported and paid for in dollars. That's gone up and stuff like that. No, that's not going to be the problem. The problem is that there's lack of chicken meat. So they're going to be importing from Turkey. Now they started importing eggs from Turkey. And then later they will start importing chicken from Turkey. And this is what happened. So there's no mystery here. There's very logic, common sense. Well, lack of common sense, really. But logic and economy, So this is what happened. think I'm going to make a video about that, a short one for 5 minutes or so. Anyway, Crusader Damien, thank you so much. The best questions come from you. So Russia threatens Latvia. Have they forgotten that little country has a big family called NATO? I don't think he wants to take on NATO in the real world. Crusader, you might be ahead of me, but I have not heard that Putin has threatened Latvia. Very strange. Let me check the news. Perhaps it's breaking right now. Just give me 1 second. I usually know these things. How can you threaten Latvia? You're absolutely right. It's a part of NATO. And then what? If they invade Latvia, they can't do that. That's a suicide. It's an instant suicide because Chapter 5 will be, or Article 5 will be invoked. You know as well as I do. They know that too. You should have seen when the rockets turned out to be Ukrainian rockets that were used in missile defense system. They were intercepting Russian rockets. They flew to Poland a couple kilometers and they killed a Polish farmer. If you remember that. Russians got so scared. Russian media all over the place. Propaganda was not us. Oh, it was not us. We don't want to be blamed. That not our rockets. They got scared. Crapless. How to say that politely. So I don't think they. That'd be suicide. Perhaps there was a message, but it was aimed inside Russia at the Russian voters or something like that. So I wouldn't take it seriously. Cheryl Wetley, thank you again. We have Yekaterina Schulman as the good person for president. I'm not sure about that. And she's definitely a great reporter, but Kirill, I think that's a little crazy idea. Yekaterina Schulman for president. Anyway, we'll discuss tomorrow. Susie Mailer, thank you so much again. Definitely we're gonna be praying for you. We'll start with you and your husband. I lost my dad, and it was the worst time in my life. And I probably don't know what you're going through, but I get pretty close. I understand well. Coriel Tavi, what do you think of recently released housing information says about Russian economy? Well, please specify which recently released housing information you mean, because I have two kinds of information. First, there is an overstock of new housing. They cannot sell it. And second, the demand started falling for one simple reason. The Russian government had been assisting by assisting the construction industry, by housing industry, but by offering discounted mortgages. Well, that has been stopped, and now the mortgages are in around 20% annuity. So that's going to cause a huge blow in Russian construction market. And anyway, it's one of those things that I told you about. The Titanic is going down. Okay, it's happening now. Russian housing industry is not well. It's crushing. Okay, that's all I know. Again, if you want me to know to answer you what I think, let me know what exactly I think about. Hence, what is your view on Yeltsin, and what is the overall view in Russia on Yeltsin? I'm too young and from the West, and the dogs are wanted quite contradicting. Okay. Friend, this is a very deep question. I won't be able to answer others' questions, but that's an interesting one. Yeltsin, he did so many mistakes, okay? He did more bad than good to Russia. He had a chance of turning Russia around. Instead, obviously, he became the president of New Russia in 1991. But instead of leading by the example, instead of being a great leader, the guy started drinking. And he became an alcoholic, and he just isolated himself from states work, states building. He let his family run the affairs. He he blew the chance. He didn't do anything good for Russia in terms of economy. He let others tear Russian economy apart. At the same time, another bad thing he did, he became a dictator. He killed Russian democracy. Russian democracy, and I made a stream on that. A Russian democracy existed for 2 years, and there were two executive branches: the president, executive power, and legislative power, the parliament. So basically, Yeltsin gave an order to disband the parliament, and when the parliament refused, he sent the army, and they basically sent tanks to shoot the parliament and disband it. Okay, so that was a coup. It happened in October of 1993, and that's Yeltsin's fault. He got full power. He did not use it. He gave it away to others. And of course, his biggest sin is he chose Vladimir Putin as his successor. He didn't just step down, but he created people who were behind him, his family. They created this sophisticated scheme how to put Vladimir Putin into power, and they succeeded. But Yeltsin did a few good things, and the biggest good thing is he let Russian press, Russian media alone. He never took any freedoms away from Russian people. He was highly criticized by the reporters. He did not touch one single reporter. Moreover, he was protecting the rights of reporters to criticize him. And that's why I respect Yeltsin, what I respect Yeltsin for. He, instead of further usurping power, he actually decided to run for president in 1996. Although initially his position was very, very, very weak. Anyway, so he did a few good things, but the damage he did to Russia is incredible. Most Russians don't like him. They associate him with the bad times, the challenges they had in their lives. They went through. They couldn't stand him. He was a drunk. That was his biggest problem. Nicole, I think so too. It is a shame. I was forced to leave Russia. I think that would be more right to say. Dave Strains is multitasking again, making dinner. Okay, that works. By the time I'm reading it, your dinner is probably served. Amir, howdy. Hope all those electric stations are going well. Dive Crew Canada, if he doesn't answer, email him. I would really like an answer for my question about the outreach. I don't want to sound mean in any way. I think I gave you my answer in the outreach. I don't even try to compare with the Russian media that is outside Russia, that is independent, that is free, and that is truthful. There's tons of stuff like that, all available to the Russians. Those folks run operations like hundreds of people. I am one-man show. Everyone, thank you for praying for Susie. She's really going through a hard time. Ferrari guy, is there any chance that injured vets from the Ukraine war will be dissatisfied enough with the way things went in their service that they reject militarism and deception about defending Russia? That's a very hot topic. You know, Ferrari guy, they're kind of spot on. Lots of people have been coming back from the war, and guess what? They're not doing well. Lots of disabled people, and a lot of them just left on their own. No help from the government. I mean, what kind of help are they expecting in the first place? They expect that the Russian government is going to help them somehow? Are they crazy to expect that? Well, if they are, then that's their problem, you know? And then a lot of people just go crazy, literally crazy, insane. Everyone brings weapons. So much for weapons being banned in Russia. And they just go nuts and they shoot people. Especially the ones who were taken to the armed forces from prisons. The cannibals, you know, the murderers, the rapists, and that bunch, the scum. They come back and they do what they know the best. They murder, they rape. We will hear about cannibals eating people again. You know, it's incredible. 20-year sentence. Person serves for a couple years, out, serves in the war for, 6 months, 9 months, 12, back home. Right next to the victim, like family's victim. You know, the family's victim's family outraged. Okay? He's back. He's like, killed daughter, and then this fellow is back. That does not bode well. It does not add stability to social. It does not decrease discontent. Let's put it this way. Palm Tree Kate, thank you for answering my last comment. Thank you so much. Thank you. Comments like that give me energy. Thank you. Do Russian trains depend on Western technology the same as aviation does? You bet. Especially the fast ones, the Siemens. You bet. They cannibalize in the fast trains too, by the way. I think I missed couple super chats. I apologize. Sam K, towards eggs or coffee. I don't know. You are the legend, Sam. Thank you. Dave Strains, you didn't have to, Dave. Thank you so much. One hot chocolate for Michael with marshmallows. Michael is doing fantastic, completely recovered. Guess what? His teacher is out sick. And more than half of his class is out sick. He goes and takes swimming lessons. Well, we take him to take swimming lessons. Everyone in the swimming class is sick, so he's the only one. And his swimming instructor is sick. So he was the first one a couple weeks ago. And now everyone else is catching up. It's like an epidemic here. It's a real bad one. Everyone is sick. And I think he was among the first ones. So thank you so much. Definitely, Dave, definitely will buy him something nice from you. Henrik Jensen or Jensen, thank you so much from Denmark. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Again, Andrew Baker, Daniel McInnes, Jekyll N, KG1, James, Stefan, Henrik, Crusader Damien, Sam K, and Dave Strains. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Okay. So a few more questions, and we seem to be running out of time. Should Russia be allowed in the Paris Olympics? My answer is no. There shouldn't be, but it's not, as far as I understand. The Russian athletes are allowed, but they're not. They're not considered Russian. They're considered neutral. They're under white flag. And guess what? In Russia, I saw the news today. In Russia, these people, the government, they're disappointed. Oh, Russians have been kicked out of the Olympics. They don't consider this decision to let the athletes compete under the white flag as the win for Russia. They just don't associate this white flag with the country. But I think that's the right decision. William Kennedy Jr., keep the doors open so we can see what's inside. Okay, whatever it is, we'll do. Blackhead, howdy friend. Good to see you. I hope all is well. Prayed for you yesterday. We'll keep on praying. They made announcement about who will be eligible for 2024 Olympics. Oh, it's not all Russian athletes. Then there's nothing to discuss. Black Edge, legend himself in the stream. Joao Marinos, I understand your message and you should know more about Russia than me, but Putin seems in control, isn't that? He just seems like he's in control. This is a very hard situation because Russian politics is just like any political system. Russian is more so. It's a very dynamic construction, dynamically changing. It's changing all the time. I agree with you that he seems more in control now, but I think on the contrary, the foundation of his system has been corroded to the point where it'll start collapsing. We're seeing the collapse. Folks, don't underestimate the eggs. Please, don't underestimate. Eggs, bread, milk, meat, that stuff can change a lot, okay? People in Russia are talking everywhere, all over about that, okay? Everyone who said that, oh, Russian economy is doing great, the GDP will grow this year, this is it for you. Explain the eggs. Explain the shortage. I made a movie about the shortages. I compared the shortages now that they're already there. We have not had shortages in Russia since 1992, 1991. Yes, the prices were high at times, but never shortages. Now there are freaking shortages. What kind of control is that? A lot of stores have changed. They started selling eggs by individually, and they don't give people more than 3 eggs in one hands. Is that control? I don't call that a control. I don't know, you know. Anyway, we will start seeing. We don't have to wait for long. We've been waiting, and I still stick to the Titanic analogy. You know, yes, they did put the pumps, extra pumps. They've been pumping out the water. It means the more oil revenue coming in, but still, that freaking thing is still sinking. Okay. Nueva Esperanza, thank you so much. Selling yourself cheap, Constantine. I'm not sure what you mean. Thank you. Dive Crew Canada, thanks for answering my question. No need to pray for me, although I really appreciate. I just have a bad cold for 10 days. Much more people need. Okay. Thank you, understood. Thank you, friend. I'll just pray for you so you, when you dive, you know, everything goes well and God watches over you. Let's see that we're running out of time. That's a good name for a video. Don't underestimate the eggs. Ferrari guy, you know what? In this stream today, I mentioned that something bigger, something more sinister is coming to Russia after 2024. And 2024, all that bad stuff will be just a pretext. And I think that's going to be it, the breakup. The more I see, the more I lean towards this idea that there's going to be a breakup. Black Cat, good to hear. Thank you for replying. Time's up. Nightbot, yes, I am seeing that. Just 1 minute and we're going to be wrapping up. Maybe get Michael a Sid and Marty Croft Saturday morning DVD to enjoy. Terry, I'm sorry, I've never heard of that. Sid and Marty Croft. I don't know what to say. EW 1974 Sapson trains. Yes, they are made by Siemens. ICE 3 or 4 in Germany. Yeah, they're being cannibalized now. By the way, there was an accident in Russia. 12 accidents in the air in 11 days. How about that? Video is coming up. Now, multiple accidents happen every single day. Incredible. You know, saying told you so would not serve the justice or whatever, you know. Saying told you so would not express how I feel. These things start happening. Tem, Jules, does Russia have a healthcare plan for people? It did. It was decent, but not anymore. Because all resources go to where? Guess, take a wild guess. Yes, to the war. Got to go, people. Get my lecture about not ringing home. Over and out. Thank you so much. Okay, friends, wrapping up. Dacian Rider, how will the breakup happen given the so many years to probe? Just to give you an idea, this is the concept of critical mass. There will be not just one individual who's going to be leading. That's going to be an entire population rising like a tidal wave and like tsunami wave. And it is going to happen just like Wagner happened in Rostov in the south of Russia. And everyone all of a sudden got silenced, kept quiet, and everyone disappeared. Okay, and the Wagner was just shooting down airplanes and helicopters and going unopposed. Things like that will be happening. There will be no individuals leading. I think that's going to be critical mass and people will just rise up. This is how it's going to happen. Anyway, thank you so much, friends. Was very... Anyway, I am personally proud of the work that I've done today, researching and analyzing and putting things together. Again, I have not seen anyone talking about it. This is cutting-edge political analysis. We'll see if it happens or not. I will definitely come back to it in about 6 months in June, or perhaps earlier if things happen. For now, I invite everyone to join me in prayer. Thank you so much for showing up. It's my pleasure and my honor. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Let's pray. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Thank you for putting food on our tables, giving roofs over our heads. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and safe. Give us wisdom to raise them, our children, the way that when they grow up, they will make this world a better place and will never be engaged in any war, any armed conflict. We'll just be friends to each other. For now, please keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, I am asking you to protect Ukraine, watch over Ukraine, and I'm asking you to stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. The country has suffered a lot and people have suffered a great deal. This is time to stop. Please reach out and touch the hearts of those who can make that decision. Fill their hearts with love. Make them softer. Fill them with empathy, mercy, forgiveness, so they finally turn back into the human beings and make the decision to stop. Please do that. Help all the Ukrainians who have been affected, answer their prayers, and make their wishes come true. Dear Lord, please help my country, Russia. Assemble your strongest army of most terrifying angels, strongest angels, most powerful angels, with sharpest knives and swords, and led by Saint Michael, send them down to this earth to get rid of the demons, so demons would get terrified and just be overthrown by your angels. Help angels to have angels to run Russia and help good people who would run Russia. Please make Russia peaceful, loving, loved, respected and respecting. Please help those who are traveling, send them safe travels. Help those who are seeking for asylum, running away from evil, threatened for nothing. Please send good people their way. Please help everyone in Ukraine who is under threat of possible attacks by the Russians. Send them safety. And help single mothers who are struggling, raising their children, trying to make ends meet all over the world, everywhere. So please help them. Please help the sick, the hungry, the homeless, the jobless, the depressed, the betrayed, the addicted, the ones who are not feeling well about themselves, the ones who are struggling with their faith, the ones who not feeling good about life. Please surround them with your love so they feel your love, they feel you, they feel that you care, and they feel you're right next to them. they feel that they're loved and they're not alone. Please do that. So they feel better about their lives, will get up from their knees, stand tall and proud, and will have good, happy lives. Thank you so much, dear God. Please, thank you so much for allowing us to create this community. Thank you for everyone who prays every day. Thank you for people who are praying along with me right now or simply watching us pray. Thank you. There are quite a few folks who need your help, and I would like to name them. Please send your help, send your love, send your angels, and so they feel everything from you. They are Susie Mailer. Please send her your angels to support her in such a hard time. And please have, dear Lord, have Susie Mailer's husband rest in peace. Please keep him right next to you in the afterlife, in another world. And again, please send Susie help, support, and so she, doesn't feel so much pain. Please help Alexei Navalny. We don't know what is going on with him, but we have a feeling, all of us, that he needs help. So please send your angels to help this guy. Please keep him healthy, strong. Give him energy to fight. Give him energy to survive, and have your angels watch over him and help him. Please help Dive Crew Canada every time he dives down in deep underwater, so everything goes well. Have your angels on the bottom helping him to Jill, Sandra Dunn, Avi, Blackhead, Dirk, please send fast recovery. Jason Carney, also please send fast recovery. Paul Wright and his community, we're praying for them. Please help Olga and her son Alexei. Kyle E.'s wife, Anonymous, Joseph Johnson, Rhonda McGillis, Heidi Homestead, Dory, and Larson's daughter Hannah. Morgan L., thank you for giving recovery, and please send more recovery, fast recovery his way. Terry Carter's former in-laws, Electron's family, John, Kurt from Colorado, Deborah, Bogey Berger and his two sons, Leslie Fleming's daughter, Buzz Simon, Sam from Kiev, Jason Connor, Jenny Stevenson, Wayne, who's fighting 2 cancers, Anna, Dave, Dawn, Summers 613, Smother, Mike O'Neill, Liz Dumbrell, Darla, White Lightning, George Ruberty, Pam, Julia Haney, Nathan, Heather, Yelena, Natasha, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Jake, Sky, Bonnie and Svetlana, Michael, Randolph, Grace Philosophy, Lisa, EMS paramedic Liz, Karen, Lori Miles' husband, David Porter, his family, and everyone from Chernovtsi, Pamela J., Leif, Joe and Lee McMahon, Terry Carter's fiancée, Meta Spencer, Stefan from Sweden, and Lars. Dear Lord, thank you so very much. Thank you. Amen. My friends, thank you very much for coming. It's been an interesting stream. I'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday. There'll be another message. Day after tomorrow, international news update. Then there will be a stream on Thursday, Friday, Russian news, crazy news update, Saturday, private stream, and Sunday, another message. Thank you again. This is my honor to have you here. It's fantastic. You're awesome and you rock. Mods, thank you very much. And before I sign off, as usual, I ask you to say along with me the following. Carthago delenda est.